Well, folks, I see dinner. Oh, that is a deer 50 feet from me. Where's my rifle?
Yeah, right.
Okay, here, doggy, doggy. Daddy's got a present for you. Come here. It's dinner time. Come here. Come back here. Come on, Fido. Oh, well. Guess dinner's getting away. I usually start my videos at our testing facility garage, but today we're going to start at my house garage. This is the only house within 16,000 acres. Out here all by myself. Of course, the garage does need a little bit of work. I've been meaning to go down to Home Depot, get some supplies. And we have a custom staircase that allows you to go up to the attic. I'd crawl up and show you, but there is a bunch of bats up there. I think I saw some killer bees the other day too. But that's okay, but what would a house be without a nice fireplace and a custom paint job? And look at those mountain views. Yeah, coat of paint, put some pictures on the wall, place will be as good as new. That's why I need more subscribers. I need you guys to send me more money for gas in the house. And the girls and the booze. So what are we driving here for this video anyway? Oh, a Ford F-350. Not a 250, a 350. That's a big one. Loaded up with everything, 4x4. 6.7 liter Power Stroke diesel engine. Turbo diesel. We're going to jump in and go for a ride later on, but first let's look at the price tag, because these don't go cheap. Okay, here's the window sticker. It says vehicle not for sale. This is for VIPs at Ford, executives, important people like me. However, but I did get a price sheet from main headquarters at Ford. Let's see what we have here. Okay, V8 diesel, locking rear axle, floor mats, cruise control, adaptive steering, wheel well liners, blah, blah, blah. Let's see how much. Okay, 10 grand for the diesel engine. Going on down. Well, there's your total bill. 80,000 bucks before tax and license. What a deal. By the way, if you're into heavy-duty trucks, before we got the Ford F-350, we got this Ram 3500 dually we tested and did a video on. And after the Ram, we also got this GMC heavy-duty diesel 2500. Did a video and test on that. If you want to watch those videos, we'll have links at the end of this Ford F-350 video. Just go to the end, click and watch. We also have a lot of other truck videos to see. Okay, let's take a look at the styling. Here's a view from the front. From the side. Ooh, this is a big one, ain't it? And of course the rear. And for the old and lazy who have a problem crawling into the bed, we have these steps here. Okay, I'm just kidding. It works for everybody. Comes in real handy when you're sticking heavy stuff in here. There's also a handrail to pull out if you need it, which is a good idea. You don't want to fall. One thing impressing me about this truck is the fantastic ground clearance. Got a lot of room under there. That's the good news. Unfortunately, you lose most of that ground clearance because of this front air dam. This prevents air from running under the vehicle on the freeway to increase fuel economy, and it does work. If you're going off-road, you have to get a wrench and unbolt this. Get rid of it. I counted 3 bolts. It shouldn't be hard to take off. On the other hand, if you ever taken one of these heavy-duty trucks, regardless of brand, off-road, with these stiff suspensions on empty bed, it is not fun. We'll talk about that later. And because of the high ride height, you get the automatic steps. Mud is optional. There are 3 engines offered in the SuperDuty series. Base is a 6.2 liter gasoline V8, putting out 385 horsepower, 430 pounds-feet of torque. For more industrious uses, a 7.3 gasoline engine, 430 horsepower, 475 foot-pounds of torque. Then with this heavy-duty 6.7 liter diesel, 475 horsepower, but more important, 1,050 pounds-feet of torque, at a low 1,600 RPM hooked to a 10-speed automatic transmission. The EPA doesn't rate these SuperDuty vehicles for fuel economy, but that's why I'm here. We're going to rack up at least 600 miles on this engine. Maybe more, because fuel's pretty inexpensive right now. For those going to purchase an F-350, the biggest choice you're going to have to make is whether you get the gasoline engine or diesel. There are a lot of arguments on both sides. We'll keep it simple for you. There's a common belief that the diesels are far more reliable than gasoline engines, and that's just not true in these trucks. That's heavy-duty rigs you see on the freeway detuned to run 1,000,000 miles. The diesels in these trucks don't last any longer than a good gasoline V8 engine. Simple fact. Number 2, there is a difference in fuel economy. As a rule, the big gasoline V8 engines in these heavy-duty trucks get around 9 in the city, around 13, 14 on the highway. The diesels generally get around 12 to 13 miles per gallon in the city and around 16 to 17 on the highway. So around the breaking point, I'd say around 80,000 miles is when the diesel will pay for itself. But until then, on the gasoline engine, you have $10,000 you save to pay the fuel bill. My advice, don't worry about reliability, don't worry about fuel economy. If you're towing heavy loads, you really need the diesel. If you're not towing heavy loads or doing so once a month, the big gasoline engine works just fine. If you're not towing at all, why are you getting a heavy-duty F-350 anyway? One complaint I've been getting from F-350 owners, the sound insulation on the hood is missing. Maybe they just don't put it there anymore. Maybe the diesel is quiet enough and doesn't need it. I found it to be relatively quiet, but we'll find out as we drive it. You think for 80 grand, you would get some insulation under here. They had it on all the previous older trucks. Before we go any further, I want to take these headlights out in the dark and see how they perform. They look pretty good. Let's do that right now and see what happens. Well, it's dark enough. Let's see what these headlights do. Here we have the low beams on the building 100 feet away. Pretty bright, good widespread. Go to high beam. Pretty bright in the center. Looks pretty good thus far. And here we have a building 300 feet away with the brights on. Lights up the countryside pretty good. Go to low beam. Almost reaches out. I would say pretty good headlights. Certainly bright enough. I can keep the review of the interior pretty short because I think Ford got everything perfect. I have nothing to bitch about at all. All the controls are large and easy to reach. Two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive low. Trailer knob and controls. Uh-oh, I disconnected something doing that. I'm not towing, who cares? Simple climate controls. Simple radio controls. Not the largest screen I've ever seen, but I don't need a big, large 20-inch television screen like I had on that Ram 3500. Good grief. 3 storage compartments. Your electrical outlets. Giant storage box in between the 2 front seats. Storage bin, cup holders. An excellent gauge cluster with lots of useful information in between. Curiously, I'm picking up a lot of glare on the camera, but I'm not getting any glare in person. Right there. I'm not seeing that in person, just on the camera for some reason. There's lots of room in the second row seating, even more if you fold the seats up. Comes in handy when you're taking your date to the drive-in movie. Overall, the quality of materials and workmanship, excellent, very nice leather, but we're cheating with that King Ranch package. But even the base Ford F-150, 250, 350s still look pretty nice compared to a lot of the competition. And what would a luxury truck be without a sunroof? You gotta have the sunroof, at this price anyway. Of course, the big question of the day, what are the payload and towing specs? Well, I got on Ford's site, said a base towing ability of 24,000 pounds, a maximum of 37,000 pounds, and maximum payload of 7,850 pounds. Problem is, all these specs are the same for the 350, the 450, and 250, which doesn't make any sense. I thought the F-450 was supposed to have more. And these figures do not distinguish between the 4-wheel or the 6-wheel versions, the dualies. That's why I don't like getting these specs on YouTube videos, because they're always wrong. The factory never gives you the exact stuff on their press releases. So if you want to know the exact spec for the job you're going to do, I suggest you get with the dealer. I don't want to mislead you. Let's just say it tows and hauls a lot. The first half of the video, show and tell, is over. Second half, we're going to go out and do some driving. Fuel economy driving in the city, fuel economy driving on the freeway, and some off-roading. Ford's done an excellent job on their power steering systems. I've driven all the Ford F-Series trucks. Keeps getting better each time. On the expressway, the ride quality is excellent if you got smooth pavement. Low wind noise too, excellent considering the giant mirrors we have out here. Starting tomorrow, we're going to start racking up some miles, so don't go away. We're going to take a long highway trip and go off-road. So far, my city driving's been around 12 to 13 mpg. Not bad for a big monster rig like this. Now we're going to reset everything to 0 and take a highway trip, going slightly uphill. Like so. This is one of the smoothest riding trucks I've driven. It's only because we're on smooth pavement at the moment. As it gets rougher, we'll see what happens. We're coming to the end of the trip, climbing a lot of steep grades, passing a lot of slow pokes. I'm really not driving for fuel economy here. I'm driving because I'm in a hurry, so I think the figure might be lower than expected, but we'll find out real soon. That was 156 miles. Doing a lot of uphill climbing, passing a lot of vehicles. Had my foot in the accelerator quite a bit. In spite of that, I got 17.6 mpg. That's very impressive for a big rig like this. More to come. Okay, 17.6 going to, and on the return trip, going slightly downhill, 18.0. I'd say those are pretty good figures in my book. Border Patrol checkpoint. They're going to see if we have the coronavirus. I'll step on the gas and ram them. How about that? Put your head down. Get ready. He's okay. Pulling out his gun.
Okay.
Okay, time to take this off the pavement, do some dirt busting. Does have four-wheel drive, you know. Unfortunately, we're limited by the front spoiler, so we won't be going very far. Hey, where's the nearest bar? Hey, look at those horns. Looks like my last blind date. That one's got even bigger horns. Sorry about flirting with your girlfriend, buddy. Not my type anyway. There are two disadvantages with the F-350 off-road. Number two, the wide width, mainly with the mirrors, which can be folded, as you can see. Going down narrow trails is tricky, especially if you have thick thorn bushes on the side. Number two, this is a very, very stiff suspension on an empty bed on a road like this. Very, very hard ride. If I had a couple thousand pounds of sandbags in the back, it'd be smoother, but we don't. This vehicle really isn't intended for off-roading, just occasional off-roading. A pet cemetery. Remember our beloved Dookie, bravest and most loyal shepherd taken from us by the flash flood. It floods around here? I think I better get out of here. Guess that was Dookie's dog chain. Well, I'm going to get back to the Ford F-350. Time to get out of here. Time to cross the deep river. Do some real four-wheeling. This engine has fantastic torque, which results in great pulling ability going up these steep grades. If you could only put this engine in a Ford Raptor, wow, what an off-roader that would be. Come on, we can make it. Ah, the old mud hole, about 3 feet deep. Gung-ho! Sink to China. Yo! Now we got the 6-footer. Let's go for it. Nice day to cross the river, except it's probably not a good idea. Ford might get upset if it swam down to Mexico. Our goal was to put 800 miles on this vehicle in 1 week. I see we're going to do that by the time we turn this in tomorrow morning. And during that time we averaged 16.5 mpg, which is about the same mileage we got off the Ford F-150 with the 5.0 V8 and the larger EcoBoost engine, which was about the same. Overall, I'm pretty impressed with the fuel economy on this, considering the size and power. No complaints here. So how does the F-350 compare to the Ram 350 and the heavy-duty 250 GMC/Chevy heavy-duty trucks? I've driven all three, and frankly, I like this one the best, personally anyway. There's nothing wrong with the Ram, it's just a bit big for me. I feel like I'm driving a house. There's too many electronic things on their touch screens if you get the deluxe model. In the GMC, Chevys are okay, but those interiors are kind of outdated. And the fuel economy at around 16 on the highway wasn't as good as this Ford F-350. On the other hand, on the F-350, I just have nothing to complain about. Strong engine, excellent economy, good ride, lovely interior. I look for things to bitch about, just can't do it on this truck. Well, yeah, the price, duh. If you're hauling lots of people and gear and have a big bank account, this might be the truck for you. In the meantime, here are some videos of other heavy-duty trucks we've driven, the Ram 3500 Dually and the GMC 2500 heavy-duty. Just click and watch. And subscribe, I need to pay for all this gas.